giveaway. Now, I have heard via my awesome team back here that the Forza guys are ready. Jeff, are you there? Jeff.
Oh,
Jeff.
I think we're good.
Jeff.
Allie, they're throwing.
Jeff. Hi, Jeff. Okay, so we're getting ready. We're waiting for them to start off here, and here we go.
All right, hello and welcome to the GIV Tournament Finals brought to you by Xbox. We're here on Forza Motorsport 7, Ali Tak, and Jeff Easterling. Jeff, welcome along. We get our annual fix of racing right here.
I'm absolutely stoked to be here. We kicked the day off with ridiculous Halo action, and now we're coming to a bit of a bread and butter for me. Like it always comes back. A bit of a bread and butter for me. Like it always comes back in some ways full circle to cars and motorsport, and I could not be more honored and excited to share the booth with you again. This is our second year in a row doing this, and actually it's my third year doing the Forza stuff for the Microsoft gaming tournament. We did this with Ekberg 2 years ago, and then last year you and I did it, and I'm super excited to be here with you again today. It's gonna be awesome.
It's going to be awesome. Yeah, well, we're kicking things off almost straight away here. We've got the 1990 #1 Ferrari 641. Not a championship winning car, almost a championship winning car for Prost.
Yeah. It actually, it's funny. It's there's a little controversy in that season at the end there too with the Forza Horizon, the current Forza Horizon namesake car, Senna in a McLaren.
Who's that guy?
Doing maybe taking Prost to task a little bit at Suzuka at the end there to clinch that championship. But man, what a back and forth battle between McLaren and Ferrari that year in 1990, and this car is absolutely worthy of world championship status, and I can't wait to see how they take it, this Italian stallion around a really great Italian track.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, we will be going to Suzuka later on, so we'll be able to relive that little moment. But for now, we're heading to Mugello. It's an awesome track. Often thought of as kind of Italy's second circuit, but actually for me, it's one of my favorites. It's really got it's really got those flowing corners. It's got a wide open track, and it's all about that slow in, fast out mentality.
Absolutely. And what's crazy here is when you're talking about these formula cars is, the slow in, fast out, it's so deceiving because these cars are on a different level than pretty much any kind of machine. And getting used to where you can actually go flat out is crazy, as far as like a racer's skill ceiling. But this track is a tricky one because it's got some turns that will convince you that you can go and seem to go on forever, and then all of a sudden you can find yourself in the kitty litter real quick.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's one of those tracks exactly where you have to build your confidence in the car, and these, so much downforce there, so much potential to grab it, but you really have to work up, get that confidence going, and get yourself feeling good on the track in the Formula One car from the 1990s. We're going to see how the guys get on in our first race. The start's going to be any second now. I feel, Jeff, as though things are going to get a little bit chaotic out there. Things are going to be a little bit messy in turn one.
Oh, man. And in all honesty, like as with any race, in fact, you can watch any Formula One Grand Prix weekend in real life, and turn one has the potential to get messy real quick. And Mugello is no different. You're going to start off with actually a little bit of a higher speed right-hander. Again, one of those turns that can catch people off guard. But we're going to get started right now. Take us away with the action.
Here we go, on board straight away with Furzbauer getting taken over on the run down towards T1. We're going to hop out of that camera and you can see this huge number of Ferraris heading down to turn one. It's an awesome sight you'll only see on Forza Motorsport 7. I don't think that many of this model of car exist in the world right now. So beautiful to see them all out there at Mugello. Furzbauer losing out to Eon into turn one, and we're going to change for the lead. These two, though, looking like they're going to race and race, push and push throughout the day today.
Absolutely. In all honesty, I want to jump on. I've got a personal bias. The fellow 343 colleague, KP, Kevin Paul, actually had a pretty good start, jumped all the way up to fourth to lead a really, really tight pack, has fallen back into sixth, but I think is still finding his groove. And in all honesty, as we've seen, Eon
is amazing. And actually, we actually have somebody going off. It looks like Hammer Down has gone off and is dropping back far down the order. I'm looking at KP in 5th. Now climbing up, and man, do we have a separation. We've got a tight battle at 1 and 2, and then a really tight battle basically 2 through 6, and then the rest of the pack. It looks like we've got a couple guys going off and caught out by some of those turns early on.
Well, speaking about the rest of the pack, something very interesting here is our sort of wild card rule set for the day, which is we have all of our drivers on track, and we also have a little bit of an extra bit of spice, a bit of cayenne pepper in the chili, and that is this guy, Raceboy77. Anybody out there on Forza who plays a lot of this game will know that name. He's one of the most prolific tuners out there. And today, Jeff, he's not racing for points, but rather the other drivers get bonus points if they can beat him.
Yes, yeah, he's like a high stakes chicane out there. It's ridiculous. He is the Alpine ringer in the Forza Motorsport community in a way. Again, I love it. I love adding the extra little bit of spice. I mean, this tournament is always rife with excitement and for a good cause, of course. And I think throwing Raceboy in there is going to add some really good spice. We're not just concentrating on one battle or the next.
All right, well, as Raceboy closes in on John here, you're going to start seeing a little bit of perspiration, I think, on John's forehead. Raceboy piling the pressure on. We're going to see how far he can climb up through this pack throughout the race. You've got to think, though, those leaders are far enough ahead now that they don't have to worry about this, that they can check out and start running their own race. Really great battle, in all honesty, going from 5th through 8th. We've got KP leading that train, but it is it's an Amtrak coming through. There is no space between these cars, and the slightest mistake can put one of these racers from 5th to 8th farther down the order. Raceboy up the inside through the final turn and pushing through. You can see that mid-corner speed, all that trust in the downforce of the Ferrari, and out onto the back straight. A little bit of clipping on the gear changes, but that's the fastest way on Forza. Keep your throttle pinned as you go up through the clutch, and wow, the drag making a big difference there. Really tucked into the draft of the two cars up ahead, Stouffer and KP, as KP goes wide, spins out and loses out. It's going to lose out to John as well, who was just behind. And Raceboy proceeds up the road into 5th now. Oh man, you hate to see it, but in all honesty, it's really a testament to how hard these guys are going there. I mean, they are absolutely at 10 tenths. And speaking of 10 tenths, man, jumping on to the second place, the battle for 1st and 2nd, Ion is just hanging on with every ounce. In fact, what I love is that our 2nd place competitor is throwing caution to the wind and is kind of sticking it to the prancing horse, riding that McLaren Honda livery. So we're actually seeing, I love to see the kind of mix and match of the of the liveries up there, recreating that. But man, the distance between Ion and FS Abu, it's craziness. The thing is, with cars that are this fast as well, you kind of get that dynamic between two cars where one of them, might be able to disappear maybe 10 car lengths in a couple of corners, but then you find yourself right back on the rear of them after another couple of corners. Just because the cars are so fast, the time differences for tiny mistakes are massive. A problem with that is that you can often find yourself right on the rear of another car without having really prepared for it. So you haven't dived up the inside, you haven't made any kind of move. You're just suddenly there, and it's like, I've got to make an overtake, or I've got to find some way of not crashing here. It can be it's racing on your fingertips, racing on your tiptoes. Well, and one thing too is this is such a flow and momentum track that in order to put really good laps down, you've got to get into a rhythm. And unfortunately, if you're following right close behind, like we see actually diving up the inside, and it looks like Ion is actually off. That's huge. Wow. FS Abu is going to take a commanding lead. And in all honesty, now it's going to be how much time is Ion going to lose? They had a huge lead, but now he's got to be worrying about looking in his own rearview mirrors. Looks like he's still got some space back there to third place, but third place is absolutely catching up. And I think we see exactly what we were kind of alluding to right there. It's a rhythm track, and if you get caught off for just one split second, that's all it takes. Wow, that mini-map in the bottom left telling the story right now. You can see first place, way up the road, FS Abu, and we've got Eon running in second. The blue mark on the mini-map, massive amount of time lost out just there. But that was all in one accident. Just like you say, Jeff, and it can go the other way too. You got to hang your head in there, you got to keep your chin up, and make sure, if you're in Eon's position, that you're there to pick up the pieces in case FS Abu makes a mistake.
Yep, absolutely. And, we talked a little bit earlier, if you're just joining us, we have a celebrity wildcard in this race, and that celebrity wildcard has worked their way up to third place.
This guy,
and like a dark-smelling blood in the water, is drawing up on Eon in second place. And, to your point, Eon's still got to stick to the plan, run their race. You never know what can happen. And because, quite frankly, some people just run their best when they are right with another racer. And if you're used to doing that, and sometimes if you all of a sudden find yourself out front all alone, your mind can wander and you can make mistakes that you wouldn't have otherwise made if you're in the thick of battle.
So right. I'm sitting here just jaw on the floor watching Raceboy 77 do his thing. You can see that race cat on the side boxes there at the Ferrari. Love to see it straight up to second place and pushing. There's one lap and one corner to go in this race, Jeff. And I don't want to write Raceboy off for pressuring the leader here. It sounds crazy. If you look at the mini-map, you can see the difference between the two cars. But a piece of me says it's possible.
You know, it's funny, I actually love the wild card in there because it reminds me of, some of the great races. Like sometimes you'll see like a Le Mans 24 Hours with, an experimental car, or a Nürburgring 24 Hours that isn't running necessarily for points. But in all honesty, they can absolutely still have an impact on the race. And you got to wonder if it's, if you see Raceboy sail past you, if you're Eon, and it's important to remember that Eon's not going to lose points to that. So it's, you have to make sure, again, that you stick to the plan and run your own race. And I think that Eon's in a good spot we're on our last lap right now of keeping that podium spot. And in all honesty, right now, you got to write off this finish and take your points and move on to the next race.
We're hopping on board right now with FS Abu, who's run a flawless race. He picked up the lead, not from a gutsy overtake, not from getting side by side, battering his way through like Prost and Senna might have either, but rather had that patience, had that ability to wait for somebody else to make the mistake. And beautiful, holds first place all the way through the second half of the race on the power, pinning it down one last time and heading down the back straight toward that finish line. FS Abu will take the victory here in race number 1, and that big 18 points for the win, as well as a bonus point for beating Raceboy 77 to the line.
Oh, man, I tell you what, we could not have asked for more as far as some first race excitement. In all honesty, it kind of came in a different way than we thought. We, you and I have both watched a lot of these racers do their thing quite a bit, and we've actually, we watched them train and run some trial runs, and kind of uncharacteristic to see a mistake like that by Eon. But again, it's still a testament to how on the edge these racers are. And even when you look up and down the line, you can look all the way down. I'm looking at, Wolf in 12th place,
That's right.
13th, but like, it's still going to be one of the fastest racers you would ever encounter online. Microsoft has a huge contingent of folks that are really into this type of racing, and they do it every single week. And these are the best of the best in a very, very rabid fan group here. So up and down the order, every single one of these folks is incredibly talented. So it makes it all the more impressive when you see somebody come out on top.
I couldn't agree more, Jeff. A car like this spells disaster in a lot of ways, right? Yes. I mean, if you put me, I've played a fair amount of Forza, and if you put me in this car, there is probably a chance approaching 100% that I'm going to put it into a wall, put it into a tire trap, and get things very wrong somewhere around the line. And these guys, not only did they run a pretty clean race, they all got through turn 1 beautifully, held a close racing pack together, but in fact, they ran a race that ended up being decided about like tiny mistakes, tiny moments, rather than these massive incidents.
Yeah, it was really impressive in all honesty. We actually didn't see a lot of kind of like carnage. And I think that we had a little bit of that jostling for position. And again, that it's sometimes a deceiving track. Like Mugello is an interesting one because Mugello in a way is kind of rewards folks that can really hot lap that track well. And I think that you kind of saw that bore out on our final laps 4 through 6 especially. We didn't have a ton of on-track battles, and I think it was just folks finding their groove and running their race. But I tell you what, the car that we have now could not be more different than the car we are
so excited. So excited.
Like, it's a hot water, cold water splash. Tell us what we got up next.
But before we get there, we're one thing away from it. We can check out the race results from race number 1. Throw them up on screen right now. You can see FS Abu taking that win, the big 19 points, 1 extra for keeping ahead of Race Boy, 17 for Eoin in second. The Vrima there in third place as well. And looking down the order, strong results from a number of the drivers there. We can check out the bottom half of the scoreboard as well. Just before we head on into the second race, which I'm keen to do, but we can see as well, just coming in, bringing in the last few positions, Danger Ranger, Vertical Fish, Don Patrol, and then Gunner as well in 19th. Great running, guys. Looking forward to race number 2. It's one of those, race number 1 for me is always like, it's like the first chapter of a book. You know, you enjoy you enjoy the characters, you find them compelling. There are some interesting anecdotes, but the plot hasn't thickened yet. You need a few more. You need a few more chapters to really get in there and find out how that dynamic's going to go. And I can't wait to see it.
Oh, we are about to enter the Two Towers edition of this tournament. I tell you right now, because it's going to be interesting to see. It is you couldn't get more, all American essentially in the next race that we've got going on. We're gonna go to a track, Daytona International Speedway. We're running the road course at night, so kind of a staple of that Daytona, the Rolex 24 Hours, one of the great American endurance races. But we're doing so in a very a car that harkens back to old school American muscle on those pony car days with the Mustang, that Shelby GT350. It is an absolute beast. I tried to run some laps in this last week, just a little bit, just to kind of like get excited. Man, there was nothing exciting about the laps that I turned in. I will tell you what, other than I was backwards a lot more than I would like to admit. Because there's a lot of power in this car, and getting it put down, and it's a point and click adventure, man. It is absolutely insane.
It truly is. I love a Mustang. I do love it, and you can't do better than a Shelby Mustang. Of course, this is a beautiful car, but there is something slightly agricultural about a pony car. There always is. It always feels like a repurposed tractor or something when you start to get near a corner. And this one is no different. Very soft on the suspension, definitely a road car. You can feel it, a lot of contrast to the Ferrari Formula 1 car. That's sprung like a skateboard. This thing is sprung like an old mattress, and you'll feel it in the mid-corner.
Yeah, it's the difference between a roller coaster and a surfing. Just like riding the wave. You're really like, it's akin. I would imagine that this to be akin to like what it is to drive a modern Roman chariot, where the hood is 64 feet long, and you have hundreds of actual horses trapped inside, and you're just trying to hang on for dear life as you're careening this car around a great track. And this track is going to be interesting too, because it has 2 very different personalities that will serve the racers well to know how to handle this car. You've got the infield sections, which are far more technical and you can get caught out by, but man, that back straight is going to reward the power in this car, but it's also going to reward being able to get onto that back straight and carry a lot of speed through there. It's going to be interesting. There may be a race won and lost with how they handle areas like the International Horseshoe and the bus stop.
For sure. If Evan is the Joker, if Raceboy 77 is the Joker here, this track is definitely Two-Face. We've got our Batman villains lining up. It's you're out there on the oval, you're on those massive banked corners. It feels like, it's a NASCAR track. There's loads of space. You can get the thing a little bit wobbly. You can go all over the place. Lots of room for error. And then you get down into that precise, really. It rewards an accurate driver, it rewards a patient driver down in the infield, and it's very flat as well. Like a lot of infield circuits in the center of ovals, there's not a lot of elevation there to help you rotate the car. You really rely on the front end a lot.
It's really an ode to Florida as a state, in all honesty. Yeah, but it's funny. You mentioned NASCAR, and this car is such a really interesting amalgamation of those two philosophies of that NASCAR straight line grunt, but also the Mustangs have improved over time in their engineering and the handling, and can certainly do so. We're getting started right now, and already a little bit of argy-bargy going on. Take us into turn one.
Here we go, on board right now with KP.
Oh,
the outside into T1, massive incident up ahead. Smoke everywhere, there's chaos, Jeff, as cars spin around. We're on the grass here with KP, trying to navigate our way through it. 7th place, down back to 8th after Gunner gets into the side of the car. This is manic, it's a heavy car. One Shelby Mustang is a relatively heavy car.
Yes, 3 million pounds.
This many of them.
Weight. Yes,
it's a stampede. It's what's happening.
Oh man, and of course we didn't talk about the grid order. The grid order is shaken up a little bit, which is why you are looking at some of our top racers coming up through. Like we already have Ion riding on with him in 11th. And in a great battle back there with KP for that 10th and 11th spot. But man, I would say middle of the pack, but in all honesty, the head and the tail of this snake is the middle of the pack. There's no difference.
I love Eon's placement here, though. He's sitting behind Raceboy. He knows Raceboy can get up through the pack. He knows he can move. And he's going to sit in his draft and let him be the tip of the spear for you. And then you can be the train as you come on round. Raceboy getting wobbly there on the big bank section for the first time. They're going to run round towards just one more set of corners before the start-finish line. That's the bus stop chicane. It's heavy on the brakes down here, so watch out as Ion picks an inside line on 2 other cars. Exciting thought. Didn't quite work out for him as cars go off up ahead. It's all about keeping it clean, and Raceboy losing out on a position.
Yeah, I tell you what, I mentioned it earlier, is that this race can be won or lost in the bus stop, and that is so much more true when you think about how tightly packed these cars are. There are not many proper lines through the bus stop, and it's such an interesting chicane and a vital corner, because not only are you coming off of this, what feels like forever on this bank straight, but man, the run that you get through the bus stop is going to determine the run that you get through that NASCAR turn 4 and onto the front straight. And in all honesty, that could be the difference between winning and losing this race, because the run you get off the bus stop is going to determine where you cross that finish line.
I completely agree. It's such an essential corner. If you guys ever want to know about how to get through the bus stop, there's a clip. I think if you look up JSR Sterilizer, one of the drivers out there in the community, he took, I think it's actually the Ferrari we were running last race, took it through the bus stop. He's got, I think it's probably his pinned tweet. It was like his finest ever moment, and it's incredible. You see this guy just pin flat, absolute commitment through there. And when you see someone do it right, it does open your eyes, because it's like, oh wow, I've been braking and stopping and turning and all this stuff, but it's about flow, it's about momentum. Hammer Down gets that, running right now in the lead of this race. We can see him already, lap number 2, heading up onto the banking for the second time as the pack squabbles behind Hammer Down, getting away in the lead.
I tell you what, no one is a bigger fan of positions 2 through apparently 64 than Hammer Down, because the more they can squabble together, the more he's got a chance to kind of open up that lead. And I think it, in all honesty, is a testament to this race, as we see the rotors on those brakes glow from the heat as they goes into the bus stop. It's a testament to this race that our leader has a considerable amount of re-engineering of the body panels on the side of the car there.
Customization.
Some customization. I don't think that's part of the livery there, and it might not be helping the aerodynamics, but I have a feeling that he's not alone in some of those bodywork alterations.
All right, let's get on board with FS Abu here, running in 7th place. It's a tight little pack here, though, as they run down toward the end of lap number 2. Raceboy up ahead has managed to gather himself up, get all his herd all his cats and get them in a row, and he is up ahead, challenging for 4th. FS Abu up the inside for 6th. And this battle splitting perhaps into two pairs, or are they going to combine again and concertina together as we run in through the infield section once again?
Oh no, and we've got KP again being pushed off, and I don't know if he had a little bit of help. I think maybe got a little too aggressive coming in, and that switch back as you come towards the exit of pit lane. And again, man, if you get that car pointed in the wrong direction and try to put the power down, or maybe just find yourself in the wrong gear, again, you can get it wrong by yourself, but in all honesty, you have a lot of cars there, and just a little tiny tap is gonna make a huge difference there. So falling back to 14th is KP, but you mentioned it earlier, that pack has actually started to really catch up with the race leader, jumping onto second with the Vroomer, who's kind of semi-quietly made their way up in a really nice kind of camo car prototype livery there, and is closing in on Hammer Down as we find ourselves halfway through the race.
Halfway, it feels like it just got started halfway through the race
I
already.
know.
Oh, it's going to be over too quickly. This here we go on with the Vroomer, who's got an excellent gamer tag. It's definitely a Forza specialist's gamer tag right there, and that camo livery allowing him to sneak camouflagedly up towards.
No one can see him. That's the key.
He's looking at his wing mirror and there's nothing there.
Yeah, he's like, man, my lead is incredible.
That's amazing. I can see all the way back to third from here. Just like Predator looking up through the undergrowth here in Florida, the Florida undergrowth, as there is so much.
We actually have a pretty great battle cooking in 7th and 8th. I actually really like this battle. They've been going right, back and forth, and they're coming back off of the, right to the start finish line. And turn 1 is going to be really interesting. And in 7th, we've got one of our favorites. We've got Eon, but man, finding it a little bit harder, and maybe it's the car, maybe it's trying to work through this pack, but finding it a lot more difficult to work their way up through traffic. Looks like they're trying to chase Agile Graph into these smooth little turns, the S's right here as we come up to the hairpin.
Yeah, I mean, Eon coming into the competition, second seed, had that little slip off of the road at Mugello. We saw him in that battle with FS Abu for the lead, and that cost him the win there. Ended up finishing in third place behind Raceboy 77, and here we are. Yeah, Act 2 of the play. It's the Empire Strikes Back, as you say, Jeff, right here. But Eon, sadly, not. I guess he's the Rebels. I don't know. Not able to strike back anyway.
It might be depending on which movie you're watching. There seems to be a lot of consternation. Actually, our race winner from last time, though, jumping on in 5th place. FS Evu is in 4th, but is being hunted down with considerable abandon right now. And in all honesty, so John Rundy who's coming down the back straight. It's going to be really interesting to see how this battle in the 3rd through 6th, 7th, 6 and 7 spots are really, really tight as they all bunch up through the bus stop here. And again, we are about to start our penultimate lap, and it's still anyone's race, even at the top.
Running on board here with 5th place, it's John. He's looking down the road, trying to keep the car consistent. You can see it's one of those. It's a real toss-up here on Forza Motorsport 7. When you're on the banking in a car like the Mustang, do you smooth steer? Do you try and get
diving? Sorry to interrupt. Diving underneath the Vroomer up top at the very beginning is try to make a move coming in over the start-finish line into turn 1. Didn't get the move made. Remains in 2nd though, but that allows Raceboy to get right up, and our top 3 are just inseparable right now, doing their best human centipede impression. Raceboy looking to go around the outside. And it looks like our leader is wide. Hammer down, couldn't get the power down, and it looks like Raceboy and Vroomer have taken full advantage of that. It is heating up. We only have about a lap and a half left, but there seems like there's so much more action still left to go.
Raceboy round the outside as we exit the flat section, center of the track, with Vroomer having to give up the lead, and back in 3rd, we're on board with Hammer Down, who made that mistake at the International Horseshoe. Got the accelerator on a little bit too much, and you can flare up the rear tires of this Shelby like no one's business. That's what this car's made for, almost. And it's slowed him down, back in third now, looking forward up the road and trying to make up the positions that you can see up there. We're going to jump on board with the Vroomer now, who's going to be looking to make some kind of move, some kind of desperate attempt back to get that lead as we run down toward the bus stop. Just a lap remains after this. One more time through all these corners, one more attempt, one more bite of the apple for these drivers.
Oh, man, the setup.
How it's going to end out.
The setup, yeah, I could not agree more. The setup for this final lap is fantastic. Really up and down the order. We've got a great bunch from about fourth on down, but I cannot peel my eyes away from this battle up at the top. And remember, just as a reminder, the Race Boy is actually like kind of a celebrity guest in this. So the real battle for first is actually the battle for second on the track. We've got the Vroomer trying desperately to hold on to this lead from Hammer Down and really just can't even think about Race Boy. You have to just imagine, like, I've got to keep my place. And in all honesty, both the Vroomer and Hammer Down are in line for a huge points boost with this finish if they can maintain, no matter what order they finish in here.
Yeah, you're quite right. You're quite right. I was getting blinded by the Race Boy there, but the first place runner on points will be the Vroomer. Race Boy's out there. He's kind of like our wild card. He's on the track. If any of the other drivers can beat him, can get ahead by the end of the race, they get an extra point. But they don't lose out anything if he's ahead like this. So Race Boy checking off out into the distance. And the battle now between the Vroomer and Hammer Down has got all the stakes on it. We're running on board with Hammer Down as Vroomer gets a little wobbly coming through the right-hander. Just one turn as we get back out onto the banking, and these drivers, I mean, what can Hammer Down do here, Jeff? There's not much time left.
In all honesty, he's far enough back that he has to just make sure that he's running a perfect lap on his own and hope that the Vroomer maybe makes a mistake in the two keys right there, and they just went through that final turn onto the back straight, and then it's all going to be in the bus stop. In all honesty, if I'm Hammer Down, I just need to make sure that I don't lose that third place, because in all honesty, the competition is not that far behind.
As these two push their way through the bus stop, you've got to think the Vroomer has done enough. An amazing attempt from the Vroomer, who actually managed to put together a fourth place finish in race number one. We didn't call it at the time. He was just one of those sort of side characters. But right here, he's managed it. Up the road, Race Boy 77 is going to do what Race Boy 77 does. Take that win. He's down for the checkered flag, but you know that those top points are going to the drivers behind. The Vroomer in second will take the 18 points for the win. Hammer Down, second place, net. Well, I guess a gross third, if you like, will take good points as well.
I think the only thing gross about that third place are the body panels, in all honesty, because that was an absolutely epic race run, really, by everyone, like up and down the order. We saw several folks that recovered from incidents earlier on in the race to still salvage some pretty respectable positions and climb up the points there. You know, we've got some amazing prizes in the works, and I think everybody is just wanting to make sure they bank those points, and because you never know when the leaders might get caught out, or if you can finish ahead of the celebrity and grab another point to put some distance between you and somebody behind. It is still all out there to play for. But man, did the Mustang and the Daytona night deliver as we expected.
You know, like you're saying, there's some gnarly body work out there right now. Maybe a little bit of duct tape's going to be needed if any of these guys are going to run this Mustang again. But it speaks to the kind of racing you get with an awesome stock car like this. You get that shoulder rubbing, you get that pushing around, and all that good stuff that you love from motorsport. You know, a little bit of that kind of touring car vibe. It's lovely stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. It's really interesting. Actually, recent motorsport news is that the Australian V8 supercars, which is another series that's kind of known for that rubbing racing style. They're actually moving to running like Mustangs and Camaros from the old Holdens and Ford Falcons that we've seen. And in all honesty, this felt like an Aussie V8 supercar race. Putting that massive power front engine down to those rear wheels and banging around through the bus stop. But this is a true test of metal and of stamina, really, to just put these laps together. This is not an easy car to get around Daytona, and to be able to do it consistently is a testament to all of the runners. But yeah, I'm going to be interested to see where things shake out with the points as we start to kind of take a look at that, because in all honesty, that is going to set the stage for our third and final race.
For sure. We're going to be heading over to the points any second. Jeff, I've been sitting here with a big smile on my face, just nodding away. The thought of Aussie V8s out on Daytona is enough to get the saliva going. And it was a little bit like that. You know, these cars are very similarly put together. They love a straight. They love going in a straight line, and they're very rewarding in that regard. Put them next to a corner, try and accelerate out of that corner, and well, you can see what happens, especially with our race leader, one-time race leader, Hammer Down, who just got that little bit too much on the accelerator and managed to slip the car around a little bit. We can see, though, now where the scores have leveled out after that race. And checking him out, you can see FS Abu remains in the lead, even though he got third place in race number 2.
Look at that 2-point spread. Like, that can easily disappear.
Nothing in it. There's nothing in it. Vroomer, second place. I guess that's the win with Raceboy taking that top spot. And further down, Eon, 5th in race number 2. It's going to hurt his chances a little bit. 32, still 4 points away from the leader, so in touch, but slipping back.
Yeah, Eon, I think, is just going to have to concentrate and essentially go into this race with the feeling of, I have to win it. I have to win it, and then see where the pieces fall back. Because in all honesty, if Eon can take the victory, who knows where? I mean, where was the Vroomer in that first race? You know, if you get another 4th, 5th, 6th place finish out of your competitors, it's entirely possible that Eon still manages to take home the overall victory.
I'm so hyped to introduce the last car. I'm so excited.
Oh man, I love this car.
Oh,
and what a history!
What a history! Strap in. 5-point harness in, folks. We are going out. We're going to Suzuka. We told you already. This season is ending like the 1990 F1 season at Suzuka. But right here, we're not going to be going in a Ferrari Formula 1 car. Nope. We're going in a Mazda 787B, and this car, I think, sounds like, two nests of Hornets strapped on top of each other, spinning around.
Well, it's funny, I come from the Halo universe, and it's like if you crammed, a dozen Banshees, Covenant Banshees, into the engine bay and just hearing it wail. This car actually, not only does it just have the sound and the looks, but it actually has the race pedigree to go along with it. Actually, the first Japanese brand to ever win the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and did it in kind of an underdog fashion, 1991, and actually led by a team that we would come to know as Orica, which modern endurance racing fans actually know as a mainstay in endurance racing and builders of prototypes. But Hugh de Chaunac and his French crew actually were part of that Mazda factory effort and took the fight to the juggernauts of Mercedes and Jaguar in those Group C days in the early 90s and really kind of stole Le Mans. And it wouldn't be until just a few years ago when Toyota, after 5 second place attempts, finally became added another Japanese manufacturer to the winner list of the 24 Hours of Le Mans. I love this car. It looks amazing. It sounds amazing. It performs amazing. And what better honor than to have the first Le Mans Japanese winner on maybe the best Japanese track?
That's right. Over at Suzuka, it's a track, we can say a lot of nice things about the 787B, and people often do. I will say, though, having gotten in it and taken it around Suzuka, it does want to kill you, Jeff. It doesn't want you to survive the experience.
Yes, that is a fair
brakes,
assessment.
I think, are made of sponge, and the front tires possibly aren't there. I'm not sure.
That's actually why that wheel cover is on there, is to actually hide the deep sea sponge that actually makes the
living sponge.
it's pretty rough. And again, this is we're going from a giant V8 engine in our last car to a 4-rotor Wankel rotary engine that again screams like the death of a million angels as it crosses a start finish line. And it's it's a different way to create and put that power down, and it revs at insanely high revs. It's absolutely awesome, and I cannot wait to see what our drivers do with this, because I tell you what, man, Suzuka is a track that has it all. And I think that you're going to have folks that find their strengths and weaknesses kind of bearing out when you get to certain sections. There's high-speed corners. There's tight hairpins. There's straights, S's. It's got it all.
It truly does. It truly does. I find the most difficult section the one we're just watching the test car run around here, so the back of the track towards after halfway Spoon corner. Especially, Michael Schumacher always said it's one of his favorite corners in motorsport. And I think the reason for that is it's one of the ones that really separates the cream of the crop
because only
from the rest.
he could get it right.
That's exactly.
That would be my favorite too if I was Michael Schumacher.
I have never got it right, Jeff. I've never done it. I know I've never have. It's super frustrating.
No, and there's actually the hairpin that you come to right under the overpass. There's a combination of two really quick right hand turns, and then you come under the overpass, and there's a super tight left hairpin. And I spend more time in the dirt than I do on the tarmac every single time I race this track. It catches me out. And again, that's another one of those. And it's really important because it goes on to a higher speed section. So you've got to get a good run out of the hairpins. Again, this is, similar to Mugello as far as that it's a flow track, but the technicality and the variations on the corners are so huge. Here we're actually going to see, again, coming into this right-hander, and then, you've got to be hard on the brakes for this hairpin right there. Oh, my gosh. We can tell that I was not driving because the car continued without incident.
Well, we are getting ready for the third race right now. The drivers all readying up in the lobby. We're all getting pressed Y as well and getting ready to go. It's going to be a awesome final race. We've got an interesting point spread to look at as well. I especially am keen to see how FS Abu gets on with his 2-point lead over the Vroomer, and Ion another 2 points behind. 36, 34, 32.
What is your prediction for Ion's finishing position? Does he win this race? Is he on the podium? Is the pressure too much? Where do you think he ends up?
He's starting 15th. He's starting 15th. That's ahead of the other two. You gotta like his chances. I'm all in. I'm all in on Ion. Let's go. Let's
do it. Let's do it. Well, hopefully we can avoid some 1990 shenanigans with purposeful wrecking into the first corner to ensure championships. In all honesty, I don't think that that's a legitimate strategy right here because the points are so tight. Gotta love that Martini livery on Don Patrol, save 787 as we kick off into the first corner. We already have racers off several. It looks like we've got 3 folks off as the Martini livery Don Patrol leads us.
Wow,
man, into the S's. What a start.
We're on board right now with Ion as FS Abu gets pushed off in the chicanes by Ion. That's the championship leader right here.
Maybe
Ion,
it is 1990.
Sitting up the front, doing great.
Oh, man. Looking at Ion in that Falcon tire livery right there, and, man, just battling as we see race. Oh, no! Ion gets turned all the way around into the tires. That is huge for end results.
FS Abu, we're hopping on board with him right now. Going to see how this plays out. FS Abu pushing up through the Degners, and Ion long gone, way behind. Abu now past Ion. It comes down to Abu versus the Vroomer. And Jeff, I don't know where the Vroomer's at. I'm looking for him in the lobby. I'm searching around right now.
Vroomer is all the way up to 4th position and is in the catbird seat. Wow. They're all coming. The leaders are all coming down into Spoon Corner now, and it's going to be good to get that power down. Make sure you don't get caught out by the deceiving kind of camber here. Get down onto that back straight, and wow, I'm still trying to I'm trying to watch the leaders, but I still can't catch my breath from our predictions going haywire about 12 seconds in.
We cursed them so badly, Jeff,
man,
and I feel awful about it. On board right now with Abu, who's trying to make up for a difficult start by diving
out of first.
Hammer down.
Yeah, out of first, Don Patrol. Don Patrol
Wow.
actually falls out of first all the way down to fifth, gets caught out, gets into the litter, and is now dropped down to fifth. And Vroomer is up to third already on the podium with our 2 laps in. Wow.
We've got Abu as well with a spin at the last chicane. Looks like he had a little bit of help getting that thing backwards. This race has been a little bit rough from the start. I tell you what though, Jeff, someone who's done all right from all of this is Raceboy77. Of course he has. Found his way up from last place all the way to second.
Yeah, not shocked in the slightest. Again, I think it's a little bit of a Stig scenario there, where you never know. It might be Schumacher actually hiding the spirit
right.
of Schumacher. We actually have a really good battle. Crumbly Dog, which is a great gamer tag. Looks like their phone number is attached to the end of that gamer tag there. But Crumbly Dog actually leading a pretty tight pack from 6th through what probably finishes out the top 10. I honestly can't literally see how many cars are in that stack because all the little gray circles are right on top of each other. But Crumbly actually looking good. And look at KP. KP actually coming up, taking away 6th place. Oh man, some home 3-4-3 love right there. And KP getting a little bit wide in that hairpin that we were talking about earlier, keeping it on the track. So that helps. Oh, but man, that 6th spot right there is a nice battle going on.
That's awesome. I love the move from KP. Absolute grunt out of Degner too, and gets on the grass on the way in a spoon. Big old wobble. KP unable to hold it. Fishtailing around. Oh, the 787B is a cruel mistress and a difficult car to keep in a straight line. KP falling out of luck.
Oh man, yeah, falling out of luck indeed, all the way down to 15th. And in all honesty, it's so tough, with the revs that you've got to get and just trying to calm yourself, get into the right gear, get back on the track. It's such a tough car to just get going again, especially when you see the traffic flying by and you want nothing more than to just get back into the action. But man, it's super tough. I'm wanting to jump all the way back up. We have a really good battle, 2nd through 4th right now, as we jump on. Wow, Stouffer 54 making a name for themselves, actually ahead of the Vroomer. Vroomer is in 3rd right now, but trying to hold that lead. Wow. And again, Stouffer actually in the de facto lead, essentially, because Raceboy, unsurprisingly, has taken the lead. So really, as far as the points go, the points are even now, and Stouffer is essentially in 1st with the Vroomer in 2nd. In all honesty, the Vroomer just needs to keep it on the track with the way this race has been going.
I agree. Next year, Jeff, Raceboy gets a BMW Isetta. That's all he gets. He gets
I think we need to do the cat and mouse mode.
That's right.
That's the only fair way to go about it. I'm not sure if we can do some DLC bicycles. A little BMX.
Only if we can have a bicycle controller with it. I need the peripherals.
Yes,
you need to have the little pedals going.
Yeah, full Guitar Hero action there. Yeah, I love it. It's a very green peripheral. You can actually power your home with it.
I'm casting from the Netherlands today. I'm down for a bit of bicycle action. We can get that to happen. On board with the Vroomer, looking like he may be able to make a move here. Vroomer coming out in race 1 and race 2 with no wins. Race 3 though, looking like a strong finish in 2nd. Excuse me, Vroomer took the win in race number 2. What am I talking about? Raceboy won it, but Vroomer got across the line after him.
In all honesty, it was hard to see with all of the tire smoke in our eyes from that Mustang on Daytona, and it was nighttime. The brake rotors are glowing. It was insane. I tell you what, I'm really impressed right here with Stouffer 54, just putting together. The reason why they're in 2nd on track but 1st in the class, so to speak, is that they have just put together consistent laps. They've stayed out of trouble, which is something that most of our other leaders, maybe with the exception of the Vroomer, have yet to do.
Okay. I'm putting my tinfoil hat on right now.
Who are you going to talk about?
Okay, let's go. Hammer down. We're getting on board with Hammer down. He's running right now 6th position. sixth position. Looking on the minimap right there. Hammer down, sixth. It's a big old jump. We're gonna look forward up the road here. On the minimap, you can see up the road. Fifth. There's Don Patrol.
Eon actually comes up the inside and takes sixth away from Hammer Down. In fact, Hammer Down, you said his name, goes from sixth to ninth.
No.
You gotta stop talking, I think. I don't know.
Hammer Down, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to say. Wow.
I tell you what, though, that the winner out of that sequence, though, is Eon, who has now moved up to sixth.
Eon. So let's think about this race for Eon. We were on board with him in lap 1, had an absolutely atrocious time, collected every other Mazda 787B out there, and found himself way back at the rear of this pack. That didn't make him stop, though. Got his head down, concentrated, pushed onwards, and that's awesome to see.
And I tell you what, we are watching a really great battle for 6th and 7th with who else but Eon and FS Abu. It's still coming down to them. Now, again, with Rumor so far ahead, it might not matter in the points, but in all honesty, the Rumor's only in 3rd. That's just a few points up, and who knows what that might mean for the end. In fact, right now, the battle 5th through 7th is super tight, and one tiny little mistake could mean a huge difference in the points. We're on our penultimate lap. We've got 2 laps left, and it is still all out there.
I am like, my brain is working overtime on the points maths here, and I'm just going to let it go now, Jeff. I'm just going to. Yeah. At some point, you're just going to let it go.
It's all bad math now. It's all Common Core.
That's right. There's no logic left in my brain, and we're going to find out after this who took the win when we look at the scoreboards. For now, though, running on board right here with Eon, who's sitting in 6th position, looking at 5th, and potentially every single point, every single position that these drivers can take in this final race could be the difference between winning and losing on that final leaderboard. Up toward the chicane, under the track, and this battle is going to go and go.
This is huge. They're coming up to this hairpin, a crucial point. Don is off wide. Eon actually gets a good run on it, but FS Abu actually had the better run, but Eon actually gets that slow in, fast out strategy right there, and has a run into Spoon Corner. This could decide these placements right here. FS Abu taking a really defensive line through there, but in all honesty, Eon might actually have a better line to get a better run onto the back straight. It is still all ahead of him. What are you seeing?
Yeah, Eon trying to pick up that late apex, run the speed out of Spoon. Didn't quite work out for a very technical corner. We've talked about it a lot. And a place which it defies logic sometimes. Eon a little wide on the way out of 130R, but looking like he's sweet through the last chicane. This is going to come down to the final lap now. The leader already starting the final lap. These guys still on the penultimate lap as we run down toward the line. So looking forward, Eon 6th place, battling it out with FS Abu, surely for the championship here.
And in all honesty, don't look now, but the Rumor, who is sitting in 2nd, which is essentially 1st, with our celebrity race boy up front, is just ahead of a tight pack of 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And all it is going to take is the slightest of mistakes, and you could see Rumor drop from 2nd to 4th in a flash, which again would make a huge difference in the points.
Holy moly. Holy moly. Okay, Vroomer getting his head down, trying to pick up that win here in race number 3. Race Boy's checked out, but he can't get points anyway. He's just a rolling chicane for these other drivers, and a rolling chicane that none of them are going to catch up with here at Suzuka in the 787B. Punching up the hill now. Vroomer's going to be taking that car toward the end of the final lap. And surely, Jeff, this is going to be the maximum points for him.
Yep, in all honesty, he got through Spoon in an incredible way, like got the run that he needed up the back straight, and in all honesty, he just got to get this final chicane right, and that should be the points victory for Vroomer, which is going to be huge in the final standings. And in all honesty, now it's where do we end up with Eon and FS Abu, and where do the points work out?
All right, Vroomer throttle down across the line in race number 3 of the GIV Tournament Finals, brought to you by Xbox will take the maximum points here, and what we're calling the win in the final race, even though he couldn't hold our Joker driver, Raceboy77, behind him. Big thank you to Raceboy for coming out and driving with us today as well. It was awesome to see him out on track. I always love seeing Raceboy racing. Just coming along the line here as well, Eon didn't manage to get past his championship rival FS Abu, and so Abu will take the points for 5th position in the end. This is going to be so spicy when we get to the points table. As I say, I'm just confused at this point. I don't know, Jeff. We'll find out.
I don't even know. Like right now, the math is like trying to get Apollo 13 back home safely. We just need to figure out where everybody shakes out, where the points are lying. And again, the points on track are a little bit different. We have our celebrity racer, Raceboy77, who is not eligible for points. So they take the victory, but really it's the Vroomer in second on track who takes those first place points. In all honesty, like now, it's like we have another race. It's like we have another finish to wait for, because we have to see how these points are tallied up. Man, what a way to end like our third and final chapter of our trilogy that we have been discussing here.
This has been the closing chapter that we all wanted. This is Return of the Jedi right here.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it. It was awesome. The 787B completely at home around Suzuka, and now we're just waiting for the points to roll in, and we'll wait and see how these drivers did out on track. I'm in the background running over to the previous race menu trying to work out what was going on. Vroomer didn't get that win, didn't take it. I think he got a penalty. He got 5 seconds of penalties, Jeff.
Really?
Across the line. This is so spicy. Holy, okay, all right, okay. I've said it already. I'm washing my hands of this. I can't do it.
I feel like I'm like watching the actual World Endurance Championship when you see your car cross the line and then all of a sudden scrutineering calls and says, actually, you're in third. You know, like it's absolutely insane. And we don't have like a full adjudication process, but we are running the Forza race regulations.
We are, exactly. So yep. Race regulations on Forza, for anyone who doesn't know already, they just put a little bit of a penalty on your race time if you go 4 wheels outside the track and gain an advantage, or if you barge another car off track. It's just kind of someone to give a little bit of oversight like that to make sure that everyone's racing fairly. It's a great little addition to the game. If you haven't played it since it's been added, then do get out there on Forza Motorsport 7 and give it a try. For now, though, we can head over to the final results for today's racing, and it's so close. It's so close. In fact, there was nothing between them in the end, Jeff. FF's Abu and the Vroomer tied out on 51 points each. I gotta tell you, all right, we're digging into the rule set here.
Yeah, I think it's Appendix J, Article 4.3b,
all right,
paragraph 2.
I'm licking my finger, going through the leaves of the document here. 15,000 pages.
I'm seeing either rock, paper, scissors, or I'm seeing minis on the Nürburgring.
I think it's
I
a
don't know,
tiebreaker. I think it is. To the death.
Yes. Yeah. You have to use the bat lift, but only in vertical orientation.
That's right. We look back at the seeding for the championship, so we can have a little look at how they qualified into this event. But I can tell you, FS Abu, by taking pole position for the first race today, won the championship because the Vroomer came 4th in the seeding. So that 1 and 4 at the very start was the thing that chose it. 51 points apiece. Brilliant racing.
Absolutely insane. And it was, it's always great to go into the last race with it all out in front of you and all for the taking. Shout out to Eon, who in all honesty still, despite a couple of strange moments in every single race, you got caught out on Mugello. Daytona was not super kind to Eon, and then fought valiantly for that top 5, top 6 finish there, and scrounged away on the podium. And what's funny is I would be throwing a party. I'd be making my own jersey to celebrate, finishing on this podium. But for someone like Eon, who's used to running up front, it's almost a tough pill to swallow, especially when you look at how tight the spread is between the top two, FS Abu and the Vroomer. But man, up and down the order, what a fantastic display by every single competitor.
For me, massive shout out to Hammer Down, somebody who we saw these like moments of absolute genius from, and then every now and again a little bit of inconsistency snuck through, got in there and managed to spoil those results just a little bit. But it's a really, really strong mid-pack finish for Hammer Down, and I love that. You can see just one result not popping in there. Don Patrol got 8th place in the final race, and so did a strong performance in race number 3.
And I do believe that I saw my man KP actually in the top 8 of the points, which is amazing considering the race that he kind of had to deal with in the latter half of Suzuka right there. Again, KP, a fellow 343 colleague and a good friend. So love seeing him finish well in the order. But again, shout out to every single one of these people, because you could take the 20th place and drop them into any online lobby, and they very, very well could take that victory. You are seeing the best of the best. When we talk about the best of the best in Microsoft organization, you're still talking about like a gazillion people that could be playing this game.
It is, that is the number. That's the
gazillion with 3 Z's and 2 L's specifically. I'm preparing for Wordament.
All right, well, we're wrapping up here from the Forza round of the GIV Tournament Finals, brought to you by Xbox. Jeff, any final thoughts coming out of Forza? What are you looking forward to next year?
Oh man, it is. It's going to be insane. Like the lineup that we have of games for the Xbox gaming tournament is always amazing, and it gets more and more eclectic and diverse every single year. I'm just excited to share the stage and the proverbial booth with incredible folks like yourself and other people that are here today. Man, what a great event for an even greater cause that continues to go from strength to strength every single year, and I could not be more honored to be part of it and to do it with you again.
Thank you so much, Jeff. And it's a real honor to be a part of it. A big thank you to everyone who makes this competition possible and comes out and spends their time putting a smile on all of our faces once per year. For now, though, thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back. You know what? Honestly, I think they should have let us do it our way for choosing between the number one and between Vroom and I think the mud wrestling would have been a better option. Like we have it off here to the side for any tiebreakers, but again, overruled. I think that's messed up, and we should get that. Hot action today in
so much
between Forza and what we just saw there, and the disappointment or like almost the upset that came out of Rocket League. Like we've had some really great games, some amazing casting already, and it is only just beginning. In fact, right now the Xbox Game Pass stuff is like in what we're going to be jumping into the action pretty quickly here, but I want to at least go through a couple things to just let you kind of understand what is happening for Xbox Game Pass, because like I equated this to like the Great British Baking Show, and just because I always like to try and find a way to put this, it's like the technical challenge. Like Mary and Paul have given, like they said, this is what you're going to do. So they had to play 3 games, and so the way that this works is they had 3 different games. They got